Hello, Jacob, and welcome to my English presentation about Just Below the Surface, which is a text we all written. It was, yeah, fine. Okay, as you can see here, I have written about 1.5 page, which would be pretty much to just read for you, because then it would be boring and you wouldn't like to hear it and maybe dump me for it. So I will take some of the most important points, tell about them, and then I will say something I haven't uh, read here, written here, because yeah, I have read the text again and find some new symbols and themes. You can see I don't have that much about them, but there are so much more than I have written. So let's start with a short presentation of the story. It's a story about a woman who lives with her family in London, in a small city. Okay, it sounds really stupid. I say in London, in a small city. It's like a neighborhood in London, but it's one of the fine neighborhoods, which makes some people, yeah, I don't want to call them jealous because they're not. Maybe they're jealous of her too, but they think she stole some of the real English. You can see I'm making the sides with my fingers, like, oh my god, this isn't true. But maybe they think she steal some of the real London humans places ish. I don't really know. We'll find out when I make the analyze. And we meet this bug exterminator, which really, really is a bad person, but we'll get into that. We'll start with the title because I really find the title really symbolic, because just below the surface, like, what's crazy about that? But just below the surface is referring to this rat problem she has. There are a lot of rats or mouse. I think it's rats. I'm pretty sure it says it's rats, but let's not fight over that. They have a problem with rats. And in the beginning, she's like, should I call anyone? Isn't this embarrassing? I'm from, yeah, I don't even remember where she's from. Pakistan, I think. Isn't that embarrassing? Everyone would judge me saying, oh my god, that's the woman from Pakistan and her husband and children. Oh my god, they're so disgusting because they don't even able to get away with these rats. So in the beginning, she tries on her own. She goes to the shop, all that stuff. It doesn't help. They still there. So she called this bug exterminator, and then, like she knew, he says they are just below the surface, which is the title. Yeah. um, and then it gets pretty weird because we know they are just below the surface. They both said it. And this man, it's like they're just below the surface, just like you are. He is replacing her. No, she's replacing the rats with her. He finds her like a rat. He really doesn't like her, even though he doesn't know her at all. It's just because she's from Pakistan. He thinks it's disgusting, terrible, everything like that. It sounds like in this text. Just because she's different than him. I have a quote from it. It says, like you can see here, Anyway, we can't kill them all. The main thing is to send them back where they came from and then pretend ain't there. Know what I mean? And then he's indirectly means that she's the rat. She had to go back to where she came from. She doesn't belong in this neighborhood. She isn't welcome. Okay. And that's what the title is all about. It's referring to her. Not because she thinks she's like a rat, but she feels, when he says these things, she feels like a rat. She feels like she isn't welcome. He hates her. He makes fun of her. It isn't fun to be her at all. Yeah, that's a symbol actually. So we already down here, but we have some more to analyze before we get there. Then we have the narrator technique. I haven't read that much to this because I think it's pretty obviously that we have a first person narrator. It's present time at all the way, but we change the time a bit. Here you can see I've read it, okay, forget what I say. The first 5 lines as I have written here, sorry, is in present time, but the rest is like a story she tells us all. You see here, this is what I say, it's present time and not what I was lying there. It's it's okay, I totally forgot the word. You know what I mean right now. But it's yeah, not even my dictionary can help me right now. But you know what I mean. It's before present. Okay, we'll continue from here. But if we go back to the first person narrator, the narrator is Indrani, I think her name is Indrani. I don't know, but when she is the only narrator in this story, we only hear the story from her side, which means that we don't hear the bug exterminator or the customers in the shop or the neighbors' point of view in this story. We don't know if they actually making fun of her, if she just misunderstands everything they say to her. We don't know. I don't think so, but at some point in some of the text, I really think she misunderstands what they say to her. When she is in the shop, we hear that she is asking some of their customers there, what can I do to make these rats go away? And there are some who tries to help her, says, you can get this, it smells, they don't like it. And she takes it personal, like, if I take this, they don't like me. And that's not the point. She is taking everything too personal. And that's why I don't know if we can trust her when she talks about the box terminator. She could just takes it all too personal. I'm sure she do. That's what she does. I'm sure. I'm totally sure, because it doesn't make sense that some people who don't even know her hate her that much. She is too... she takes everything too personal. That's just the point I want to make here. But let's move forward, because I don't have any more to say about the narrator technique. Because we're going to the settings now. Yeah. Actually, we is in Drani's house most of the time. It's here her family and her live. It's her children, and her husband. Her husband earns a lot of money, and that's why they have this big pretty house. As I write here, it had colored glass windows, extensions, and modernizing. It's really, really fine. It's a good house. And again, the neighborhood is one of the finer ones. So it's pretty good to live there. That's actually just what I wanted to say. I just want to make my point. I just want to make sure everyone knows it's a good village. It's a good neighborhood. Because they could have lived somewhere else where more of their people, I don't know, Pakistani's people lives. They don't want to because they have the money, they have the abilities to live another place. And yeah, that's it. Okay, I already told about the title, which is a symbol, but we also have the rats. I think you've guessed already that the rats is a symbol for her and her family and her kind of people. Um, just as I mentioned before, the man makes her the rat. They're just below the surface. They're everywhere. You can't get rid of them. You just have to ignore them, try them to make them go away, kind of. And that's the point I want to make once again. That this bug exterminator finds her, and not even just the bug terminator. In this story, it's everyone she meets, almost. Who find her and her family and her kind of people, her race, her religion, I don't know. They find them, yeah, not good. They really don't like them. They, what can you say? I really have to use a good word here. They, yeah. I'm talking so much I forget what you have to say. They change them. I don't know. They, they, they make them on the same level as rats. You can say that. Um, yeah, and that's all about the story. The rats is actually a symbol for the Pakistani people. That's all, and that's what the story is about, in my opinion. Of course, there could be so much more, and that's why I have got some themes. Because we have, of course, racism. I know you think racism as it's when you are black and I'm white and then I hate you. But racism, and I've googled this, is also making fun of other kind of people with another background than you. Not if you're poor or rich, but more like I'm from this country and you're from this country. We have different cultures, we have different side of life, and maybe there are more brown, and that's maybe good because you look good when you're brown, and you look sometimes a little bit boring when you just white. So maybe it's good, but there are a lot of racism in this story. I don't know if misunderstandings are a real, you know, theme, but I just think she really misunderstands a lot of what people says to her. It's like she don't get the point. They actually tries to help her in the supermarket. And she's just like, she's suspecting everyone to be mean. And that's not fair. Yeah. I don't have that much time back. I'm just thinking if there are any more I have to say. Um, this story maybe reminds me a bit of the Uku, and then not really. Because in his story, he really tries to become one of the whites. He don't want to say it's okay that I'm black and you're not. We're equal. He was like, I'm like the blacks, and even though I'm black, I'm not black. So all the other blacks, I hate them. Here, it's more like she thinks everyone else is hating on her, which they probably aren't. But okay, that's a really bad. Maybe that's not so good. Maybe you just have to forget what I say. What I said. Yeah. Okay, but I don't have more time, so bye bye.